Hey folks, it's Lindsey Huddleston with SPS back in the building over at Old Redford Academy. Sitting here with my guy amongst guys, that is Coach Ray Reeves in his second year as head coach for the Old Redford Ravens. We don't have to say formerly Benedictine anymore. They know where Old Redford is at, right? You don't got to go through that process.
Yes, sir.
Well, let me congratulate you, champion, in your second season. In your second season, you were able to win the Charter School Championship over at Wayne State, over a Summit team. Talk about the success. Talk about what's been happening in this whirlwind of 2 seasons, and here we are.
We just kept grinding. We kept on working. We believed the process. We struggled early in the beginning of the year, but we played that difficult schedule, and I think that helped us, especially in the playoffs.
So that difficult schedule, I remember seeing you early on, wasn't the outcome you wanted, wasn't the expectations you have for your players and program, but how difficult is it to go through an early schedule, early in the season, the chirping is going on, what's going on with Ray, what's going on with Old Redford, all this talent. How did you kind of navigate and get through that process?
Because I realized it wasn't basketball. What was hurting us wasn't basketball. We had other stuff that was going on. We had to learn to block out the outside noise and trust each other, and it was difficult at the beginning.
Yeah, they say the state of Indiana is a crossroads to America, but that special trip you had in Indiana, New Year's, ended up being a crossroads for your team and a big turnaround. You talked about that before. Tell me a little bit more about what that experience
I think
was.
the Indiana trip is where everything kind of turned around. I think we had a team meeting. Guys got stuff off their chest. We addressed what we need to address, and again, like I said, it wasn't basketball. It was other things that was holding us back, and I think it was one of those come to Jesus meetings. It was stuff that needed to be said. It was either you was in or you was out, and I think that's what changed our season.
You have a great career, not only as a player with the PSL, as coaching. You've done some great things. Does it still catch you off guard when you have that meeting and that experience and players kind of say, hey, this is where we are, or something crazy with players, parents, outside of basketball? I mean, does it still catch you off guard when those things happen?
No, not at this point, because the game.
You're waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, the game has changed. It wasn't like it was when we was coming up.
Right.
Our parents dropped us off and we played. It was just basketball. At this point now, it was something else. It was other stuff that was going on. Stuff in the stands. It was, clicked up here and clicked up there, and then we just had to put it on the table. And I think that was the best thing that happened to us up there, because I honestly think we didn't even go to sleep that night.
Wow.
I think after we finished talking, guys were still coming to the room 2, 3 in the morning. Next thing I know, it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, y'all still been going. What does it take to, quote unquote, put it on the table? What does it take to get your players to open up, you as a coach to be vulnerable, not to say that you're not, but what does it take to finally get to that point? Because people are watching Ray Reeves and what you do and the talent you have and the success you have, so I'm just curious to know what insight you can give on that.
I think you got to be honest with yourself. I knew we were struggling. I heard all the noise, but I believe that we were right there. It wasn't basketball. This was something else. Like, you had to, it's just like with cancer. If you don't catch it early, you in trouble.
And they say it spreads.
And it starts spreading. And we caught it, and we had to be honest about a lot of stuff. We had to be honest about the way we was playing, and some of the stuff that people were saying was true. We were playing selfish. We were playing, to me, not to win, because we were listening to other stuff. It was, like I said, it was clicked up. It was people saying this and people saying that. And, basketball is a team sport. Like, you have to be together. And if you got somebody on another agenda, then you're going to look like we look.
Yeah. Tell me this, and I appreciate the insight you're giving me. I'm keeping my sports psychology hat on. When you have to address those things, how easy is it to say, well, maybe this will pass, let it go, I don't want to address this, this is taking too much energy? Like you said, it wasn't basketball. You could have justified it by saying, it's not basketball, I'm not going to worry about it, but like you said, it could continue to fester. Because so many people miss that sometimes, right?
Because I realized we were too good to be playing. It's a difference in losing, but it's the way we was losing, and I knew we wasn't where we supposed to be. You know, you're going to play some good teams. You're going to have to take it sometime. But the way we were losing, it was like, hold up, this is not my team. Like, we got to figure this out. And again, it was rough. It was some stuff that was said. It was some stuff that, like, if this really what you want, and if this team is going to be a team, we got to put it on the table.
So even when you go back to that, you know, special night, 3 in the morning conversation, 7 in the morning conversation, that all-nighter, did you see immediate success, or did you have to take a couple steps after that just to kind of go to bridge the gap after you made the big decision to say we're going to change some things? Was it immediate? Because sometimes we'll make a decision thinking it's the right thing, but, you know, not knowing if that is it.
To be honest, when we played the South Carolina team, they had like 3 guys that were 6'8" in the lineup. And then somehow we started running stuff, and we started bringing Quan out. And that freed up everybody. Like,
because the big had to follow and come out there.
We had to get our shooters off. I think Jalen was playing good. Devin was playing good. Matter of fact, the whole team, I thought it was the best game we played, and they were pretty good. So I left there saying, okay, we own to something. So I realized at that point we had to make some changes, and people was going to have to buy in. And that was just the beginning. I knew right then and there we was going to be all right.
So help me with the changes part, because people can easily say, you know, we had a game plan, we go stick with it. A lot of coaches just don't make those adjustments. That's like the halftime adjustment that we hear about so much. Has that just been your experience as being a coach, knowing that, hey, sometimes if the game plan is not working, you have to be willing to change what you worked on to get to that point?
I always got to be willing to change it up. And like I said, it was just different. Like, when we started putting Quan on that wing, it was different. Like, I could start seeing it was opening up everything. Now we was driving. Now we was kicking, and we was playing together. And then you could see the guys. They was putting smiles on their faces, and they was enjoying it. And I'm like, okay, this is what we have to do now.
You know, Ray, this one I could take advantage of us having a relationship and knowing each other. I remember our trip to Vegas a couple years ago. You get so caught up in the game, you don't even remember watching the game one time. You was choking me watching the game. I said, man, why are you choking? He said, I didn't know I choked you. My point being is
Vegas elite.
Vegas. Oh, there we go. So here's my question: when we talk about you getting to the point where the passionate, committed, disciplined coach Ray Reeves get to the point where you can breathe a little bit, because I know we still got some basketball to play for the States going forward, but winning a championship, I want to know what that experience was like when you were able to say, okay, we good. Or did you ever get to let off at any time to be able to experience that?
When we were going through what we was going through, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun no more. It was a couple of people I would talk to, a couple of parents I was telling them we was going to be okay, but it wasn't fun for me, so I know it wasn't fun for the kids. And we kept grinding, and then I kept saying, it ain't basketball. Once we figured that out and was like, okay, this is what it is now, we got to address it, it became fun. And then you could see your team every game I kept saying, whoa, oh, okay, I see something now we can use later on. I can see some of the teams that we going to play the next time we play them, it's going to be different.
You see that? So when you talk about it wasn't basketball, is there any way you can foresee what a problem may be? Are there any red flags early on that if you could go back in time you'll address, or is it one of those that has to play out to get to that point for it to finally be the outcome you want it to be?
I think that you see it, but you know, sometimes you don't want to. You're trying to figure out how to address it. Like
you like, this gonna be a problem.
You know, you see it, but you think that it's gonna go away. You think that
you hope that it's gonna go away.
You hope that it's gonna go away. You think that somebody realize, okay, hold up, this ain't what's best for the kid. Like, you saying or doing this is not helping the team. Like, you think people would recognize that, but it got worse. Like, it got to a point where, like I said, it wasn't basketball. It wasn't fun. Like, it was different. It was like, I've never experienced this. I've dealt with all the years I've coached. I've dealt with situations, but I've never dealt with such toxic. Like, it was almost sickening. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
Is that something that one person as a head coach can address, or do you need almost a team approach and other elements to help you address it? How do you even kind of put on the plastic glove and reach in there as you talk about it being so toxic?
I think that at some point, I think Indiana was going to make us or break us.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that. I think that, the good thing is we played good up there, and they could see where, we are pretty good.
Right.
Regardless of our record, we are pretty good. But at the same time, people say it, we brothers, but a lot of people don't believe that.
Yeah.
And then in this game, you have to be brothers. Like, you have to have each other's back. You can't make a mistake and then you point on at somebody else, or you turn it over and it's somebody else's fault.
Right. So a lot of accountability.
Right. It's got to be. You got to be accountable.
Yeah.
And even as a coach, it was things I could have did better, and I acknowledge that. But I also said, look, this is what it is. Either you in or you out.
How many times do people say that and they don't mean it, and you almost have to make an example? Did you have to make an example? When Ray do that laugh, that's when we cut to the sponsor.
I think that I don't have to say it. I just think that you can see the difference.
Yeah.
You can see that something changed.
Yeah. Speaking of difference, this 2.0 team right now, how would you describe this team post Indiana and that South Carolina experience? How would you describe this team as far as what kind of players you have on the floor, what you expect out of them?
I think the biggest change, we still preaching the same stuff that we preach. It's just they're listening now. And I also think that the biggest thing is they enjoy playing again, and you can see the brotherhood. Like, if you've been around, you can see the joking and the laughing, and then they holding each other accountable. Like, we in the game and a guy having an assignment missed, they're saying it. And it used to be just offense. Like, they wouldn't say nothing about defense. You didn't pass me the ball, or you didn't do that. We don't even talk about that no more. Like, if anything we do or we check each other is strictly defense now. It ain't offense. We don't even talk about that.
Right.
It's, you missed that assignment, you got to be there. I got you next time. I got you. We wasn't doing that.
I can appreciate that. And also the part, why is it that we underestimate the importance of having fun when you're playing basketball? Because it's almost like sometimes the fun police come out and say you ain't supposed to have fun.
But I don't believe you can play this game and don't have some type of emotion. Yeah. If you go watch a game and dudes got the straight face and how did you play like that? Yeah, especially you playing against somebody that's good. Like you got to bring it. And in the game, it's always going to be ups and downs. You have to be able to balance that. But sometimes you got to shake it off. Like, you made a mistake, so it ain't no need for me to get on your head about why you turned it over. We still got to keep playing. You got to shake that off. All right, I got the next one. Yeah. And that's, to me, you got to be like that. Like, you can't just play and just gotta make a good play and you give him a keep that.
Yeah. What does your road to the Breslin look like? Talk about what districts look like. Talk about what your path looks like.
One game at a time. Okay. We got to take on the winner of CMA in Bradford. Hopefully get through that and then prepare for Friday. Like, I know the teams that we're going to have to play, but I'm not even thinking about them until we take care of that first one.
So, from the leader standpoint, you're keeping everybody present, keeping everybody focused on what's now. What concerns you going forward?
Just blocking out the noise. We've been doing a good job of that. Not like people telling them, like, oh, I knew y'all was. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Just remember that same energy when people was telling you was garbage.
Early in the season, the first time. I always say this, Ray, that people get so uptight at the beginning of the season. I have to remind people, I said, listen, the last time you saw high school basketball was championship basketball. You saw people at their best, making those runs in March, and you come back with this mindset that it's going to look like that for everybody, and it doesn't. So your wisdom tells you just to weather the course.
You got to, you want to be playing your best basketball February, March. December, everybody hype. Everybody want to come out to see the hype games and all that, but you got to learn from it. We took it on the chin. Warren Lincoln spanked us pretty good. St. Mary's spanked us pretty good. We played Ann Arbor and Huron, and people don't realize they weren't even on our schedule. I got a call 2 days before that game and asked me would I play, and I said absolutely, even though I knew Quan wasn't going to play in Devon. We got spanked on that, but I also seen some stuff that was like, okay, we're going to be okay. Yeah, we're going to be okay.
Coach, I always appreciate sitting down with you. I feel like I'm part of the Raven family over here. I'm going to get with some of your players, too. Anything else we need to know about, we need to be thinking about as it comes to you, your program, or just anything going forward?
We're trying to get it done. And if we don't, we going out blazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's good. Well, you got that championship on. Congratulations
I
on that.
appreciate it, bro.
Always good talking to you.
You did stay with me day one, even when the.
Oh no,
I appreciate that. Nah, you trust me. It was. Some,
wow.
It was some.
They was jumping ship like that.
Oh man. But I understand that, and that's part of it. We wasn't playing good. But some people gotta forget, you ain't winning in December. Ain't no state championship in December.
No matter how the game go, but you got to see what you need to see.
You gotta keep grinding. You gotta keep grinding.
Good. Well, you own it all the time. Well, with that being said, this is Lindsey Hudson with SPS, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.